Thank you all for attending this special meeting this evening. We'll start with roll call. Travis Irons. Vicki Meyer. Ted Dumaine. Joe Bissett. Donald, how do you pronounce your last name? Donald, you're here. And we have Kelly and Donnie. Good there with a quorum. One thing I wanted to note is we do have an invite of our Board of Selectmen this evening to our table, so they are present here with us. All right. Moving on to acceptance of minutes from our November 29th special meeting. Everyone here on the board should have gotten a copy of the minutes and reviewed them. Any discussion on those minutes?
Motion the minutes be accepted as presented.
Okay, we have a motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a second. All of those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. And it's accepted. All right. Under new business, one of the big things we wanted to get accomplished tonight is we want to fill our alternate vacancies for the Board of Finance. We do have two individuals who expressed interest having written letters. One is Ernest Kutu, and the other is Roxanne Boise. And then Scott Trotwood also has expressed interest for the alternate positions on the Board of Finance.
So that's Cindy Chester.
Cindy Chester, okay. Thank you. All right, so those are the four thus far that have expressed interest. Are there any others? No? Okay. I believe a few of our individuals who have expressed interest are here with us this evening. So I did want to give the opportunity if they're here. I know not everybody on the board may be familiar with some of them. So if maybe we could give them an opportunity, a minute to introduce themselves, maybe say a few words. So we'll start with, is Roxanne here?
I'm Roxanne Boise, a resident of Plainfield for 33 years plus, and I've served on the Board of Education and also the Board of Planning and Zoning. Thank you.
Thanks. All right, is Ernest here?
Yes. I was born and brought up in the town of Plainfield for 83 years. My children went to school in Plainfield. I've served on one board for 6 years. That's all I have to say. I wish I could get on. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, any others in the audience or just Scott?
Yep, I'm Scott Charlotte. I've been a resident for about 27 years now. I was a volunteer in the Plainfield Little League for 16 years, president is 12. Also on the Board of Ed for 2. And my background is, I've got a big background in business, do a lot of budgeting, do a lot of contract negotiations and such, and I've been doing that for 20 plus years.
Okay, thank you. And then is Cindy present?
She's not present, but she's a former Board of Finance member.
Okay, great. All right, so now that we've given that opportunity, I would like to open the floor for nominations.
Do we know what parties everybody is?
It's a good question. I know that Roxanne, Democrat, correct?
Correct.
Scott, you are unaffiliated, correct? And Mr. Kutu,
Democrat.
Democrat, okay.
And Cindy's a Republican.
Cindy's Republican, okay. All right, so open for nominations.
Nominate Scott Charlotte.
Okay, we have a nomination for Scott. Is there a second?
I second that nomination.
Okay, second? All those in favor of Scott being selected for alternate position signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Nay. We have to wonder if everyone no representation.
All right. So, we're good there?
He's in, right?
Yep. Scott, congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. Other nominations?
Yeah, nominate Cindy Chester.
Is Scott unaffiliated?
He is.
So he's got minority party, nominated.
Mhm. Okay. Any other nominations?
We can't nominate Cindy, I don't think.
I believe he can.
Can we?
Can you?
They can, in the case of a nomination for,
No.
from the board, not an election, it can be anyone.
All right, then I nominate Cindy Chester.
Okay. We got a nomination for Cindy. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a second for Cindy. All those in favor of Cindy being elected to the other alternate position signify by saying aye.
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 All right. Any opposed? All right. So we have Scott Charwood and Cindy Chester as our new alternate members. So thank you for that. All right. Moving on, one of the things that I wanted to give an opportunity for this evening is we all know that one of the big burning issues right now for us is the cuts to ECS funding for fiscal year 2018, and that even though we had discussed and made the decision for $1 million, the big question that a lot of concerned citizens in town, a lot of people are asking is, where is the other $1 million? How are we going to recover? And where's the other $1 million going to come from? So even though I realize that tonight we are not going to be making a decision on that and officially figuring that out, but I wanted to give this opportunity while we are together if there are any thoughts or suggestions that the board would like to discuss. Because as we know, again, a lot of people are concerned about this and would like to know what direction we may be going in. So any thoughts or suggestions, much appreciated.
I have a question.
Yep.
If this was the beginning of a budget year, and a budget was turned down with the same cuts from the state, would we not split it percentage-wise between the town and the school?
In the past, you guys can correct me, I don't know if my recollection's been right, but in the past, if it was cut from school, they cut the school. If it was cut from the town, like town aid, LoCIP, it would be cut from the town.
Even at the start of the budget year?
Yeah, that's what we've done in the past. In the past too, like if we were trying to pass a budget and the budget wouldn't pass, what we would do is figure out what percentage of the budget's the school, what percentage is the town. And then at that time, we would cut based on that percentage. That's what we've done in the past.
How much does the town raise in taxes? Not include the ECSs or whatever.
Just
26,
taxes,
27.
property taxes, we have budgeted this year 27 million.
27, and how much of that is the town?
What do you mean?
How
That's
much is
property
that?
taxes, that's property
How
taxes.
much of the property tax does the town use?
Oh, okay, I can tell you that. Hold on. I just have to find it.
About 13?
So the town's expenditures. So the town's expenditures is about, 8 million. And 35 million is the school. We have $1 million in pension, which is covered by the town, is for the school in the town, and the town covers $1 million. The school doesn't contribute to that. And then we have debt, that's 1.9, so roughly $2 million. So $3 million is accommodating, you know, it's for debt that was incurred, you know, the new high school or any of our debt projects, and the pension. Plus the town is 8 million and the school's 35. So out of 27 million, yeah,
I'm only asking for what the town collects in taxes. If they collect 27, the school can't spend 35.
correct, yeah.
What's the-
Okay.
what's the 35?
I thought you were asking what percentage of
Of
the,
the taxes.
yeah, that's what I thought you were asking me. What percentage is the town, what percentage is the
Oh, you
school?
get it. 35% of the school. Is that what you're saying?
No, the school, out of that taxes, it's a lot more than 35. You're asking me the breakdown, correct?
The breakdown, just the taxes, not the revenues from the state. It's about 27 million, isn't it?
It is 27 million, yes.
Okay, of that portion, how much does the town use and how much does the school
Oh.
department use?
Okay, hold on.
Just of that section.
Yeah, hold on, let me get a budget. Ha. Okay, so of the state revenue that we get is 13 million. And that's the 13 million the school uses, so hold on, I'll just subtract. Mhm. 27. Minus, and then they bring 13, so 14 million.
The school department uses 14,
Yeah,
so town uses about, toss about 50, 60, 50%. So when we say 80, 20%, we don't mean that the taxes collected, do we?
No.
Okay,
the total budget is what we're talking about.
all right, that's a big difference.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
All right. Any other thoughts or discussion from the members?
Okay, take it a step further. What was the aid we get? If the town Plainfield comes into town Plainfield, how much of it goes to the school? We get some of the town, right? We get
About 13 million.
Yeah,
Yeah.
13
Go to the
million
school.
goes to the school.
on those state aid, what?
About maybe 3 million goes to the town. And that's BOSIP, town aid.
Right.
I guess the question comes up is, do we want to do this as a town or as two separate entities? Do we want to say there's a school department and there's a town, or do we want to say there's a town? I say we want to say there's a town. So collectively, whoever can cut. If the town can cut, then they should cut. If the school starts cutting personnel, the town better start taking a look at where they can cut. Like $100,000 for a dehumidifier that we don't need. But I don't think it should all be on the school.
Mr. Chairman, may I say something?
Yes.
Ted has an idea there, but if you wanna do that, let's all be the town of Plainfield, no more Central Village, no more Warrigal, no more Moosup, just Plainfield. If you wanna do that, that's what we
I
ought to
agree.
do.
Let's
But
do
that's, see,
I agree.
we've tried that already in the past,
Yeah,
and the problem was with the post office and the government, zip codes. That's a major problem, that's why they wouldn't let us do it. Maybe Dave Wagner was in, or Dave Allard, when he was in, we tried that, and it didn't work because of the zip code. So maybe it's different now, I don't know. But if you wanna combine everything, let's be one town also.
yeah, you're right.
Well, then my concern with that is, my concern with that is though, and correct me if I'm wrong, if you're saying that we're gonna be one, then why do you need a Board of Education? Is the town gonna be able to tell the school what to do with their budget and their money?
No, let's work together as one, is what I'm saying. It's like you have several departments in here, but they work as one. That don't mean to say each department is gonna run it. or we're gonna, you know what I'm saying?
But if you look at the past, Ted, from 2011, the school board, we have given them money out of our general fund balance every single year since 2011. Kelly, you can correct me if I'm wrong.
You appropriated
So
funds.
we have worked as a town and as a unit. But now, because there's a $2 million cut, we are giving them $1 million. Now you want to work as a town and give them $2 million? So what happens next year when the budget comes in and they go over budget? Or when the state goes 120 days and has no budget again, and we have no money because our state aid hasn't come in? Where are we going to get the money? Because we are uniting as a town, and I get it, Ted. That's my whole thing, that we have to work together. But how are we gonna work together with the best interest of the town if we deplete our general fund balance?
You don't deplete it unless you take it all out. We've taken about 12% out. That's nowhere near depletion. But this is one of the things we want to discuss. Your question is good. What are we going to do? This is what we're here for. And that's a very good idea. As long as we can discuss, what are we going to do? One of the things we could do is send out a supplemental tax bill.
I don't feel that's the right thing to do, Ted, because then
That-
you're
that's
putting the
fine.
burden back on the townspeople.
That's fine, but if we just sit here and say, let them do it, we've accomplished nothing. We can walk out of here and say, give it to the school department, let's go home.
But what has the school department done? They said they were gonna cut $200,000 every month. They have not cut $200,000 every month.
Well, I guess we gotta spank them, huh?
Well, you know what?
Yes, please.
Anyway,
We'd like to hear your point, Mr. Slavin.
Teddy has an idea, it seems to be it's okay, but this is an ECS cut. It's not a ECS town aid cut. If it was a town aid cut, it's okay. You could combine them. But I don't believe it's the right thing to do, Ted. This is an ECS cut, and that's where the cut was. And we're gonna have to address the education department, not from the town. No, I don't believe that.
Kathy and George, thank you for your discussion points.
All the money we've given, you know, over the years, and, so far, we don't have to, we give $1 million here, and, you know, they'll have to lose $1 million. Should be an easy enough thing to get ready.
All right.
Consider we have $200,000 in my mouth, but it's how long, so that's, that extra money there too besides.
October 1st. It was October
Yeah,
1st.
okay, so 2
Yeah,
months.
that was the start of it.
Extra $400,000.
The thing is, you're gonna cut it even further,
Correct. Correct.
so it's a big difference.
Yes.
And I think that we've shown that we're willing to work with them. And we need the school system, we need to support the school system, but we need them to show us that they're working just as hard as we are working to solve this problem. And I don't feel like at this point, they've done that yet.
Have they made any cuts yet?
I don't know. I don't know.
She would know.
Do I see it in
If they made any
the
cuts.
the checks and the payroll? No,
Finances.
no, I don't.
They haven't cut their payroll?
I haven't noticed it, no.
Well, they've laid off people. I don't know how to pay them.
Maybe because everyone's 2 weeks
Had a
behind.
layoff up there.
Everything's 2 weeks behind. Everything get paid bi-weekly.
November 3rd, they had a layoff.
So maybe
So
it's
so
coming.
if they laid off, maybe we got a lack of communication with the school department. That's obviously something you should have known. They should have told you that.
No, they didn't though.
Well, I'm saying they should have. So we got a lack of communication is what we got.
Employees, if they have a contract, they might have accrued, say, vacation time, sick time, so I wouldn't see it right away. If you have to pay them out, for so many days on the books, I don't know who was let go, I don't know their contracts.
You're gonna have to,
It could have been that.
you'll have to be paying unemployment, right? That will take place within the first 2 weeks, I would think.
Mr.
Jim,
Chairman, could we ask them to give us a plan, or give you a plan?
Mhm.
And then we could see how it's gonna impact, and maybe there's, you know, maybe there's some that you feel is too severe when you see it, but without an idea, I think it's hard to
We've
judge.
asked for that in the past, and
Yeah, to get
just
this.
don't do it.
Well, I think we should ask them in writing,
Yeah,
and
I agree.
Okay.
If you go to minutes that we're requesting a plan to save $1 million, or as close to it as he can get.
And show us how much they've cut already.
Correct.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Ted, you did bring up a good point of communication between them and her. But I was on the town website today, matter of fact, the whole week. And I checked all the boards, and all the boards have an agenda that I can get online. But when you go to the school board, we can't get their agenda. You have to call the superintendent's office to get their agenda. So how can we have any kind of bona fide town communication together? We don't. That's a big problem, I think. You never know what their agenda is gonna be, not until you go to the superintendent's office to get it. But all our agendas, you can get online. They're all printable.
Do they have to post their meetings?
Yeah, they're posted on our web calendar.
They're
No,
posted on
no,
the town clerk?
Yes. No, they're posted
no, they're not.
on, yeah, they are. The meetings are.
It was supposed to be.
The meetings, but I don't think the agenda.
No, the meetings are on our calendar, okay? But to get their
So
agenda,
you have to go to the town clerk for that?
no, you gotta go to the superintendent's office, that's what it tells you there. You go on there and say, you have to call the superintendent's office and get a copy of the agenda. That doesn't make sense to me, at all. I mean, we wanna work together, you know, and see what's going on. Well, guess what? You have to go to the superintendent's office to get the agenda. Check it yourself tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's
So
right
the
there.
town side is the only one that has to go to the town clerk's office
No,
to say what the agenda is?
no, we can get the agenda right on the calendar. You hit it.
He's asking,
Legally.
he's
You have to
asking
go
if
to
it's
the
just
town
an,
clerk's
Oh,
office.
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, but I don't know about that.
I think they do.
we do.
Yeah, but you can't
They
get,
have to.
yeah, but I can't get a copy of it.
Okay, you have to go to the town clerk. You may not read it online, but the town clerk should
Well,
have it.
maybe that's right, I don't know for sure, but I shouldn't have to do that. If I got a computer, I shouldn't have to go to the town clerk to get a copy of their agenda.
Maybe we ought to find out who does that posting and check with them.
Well, Teddy, whistleblower does the posting, Kyle
I
Collins.
would suggest you call Kyle and
I
ask
already
what's
talked to
going
him.
on.
I already talked to him about it. You have to go to the superintendent's office to get a copy. You can't get it online. Now, like you said, maybe you can get it here. I don't know. But every other one I can get online. I cannot get the school board's agenda.
There's too much of a division.
Point has been made.
Yes, that's right.
Thank you for that.
Okay,
You
sorry.
know, we've asked the Board of Ed over and over again for their $1 million. They've sidestepped that question over and over again. Why don't we just say we're reducing their budget by $1 million? Now come up and tell us what we're doing. Because we have had this conversation since, I don't know.
September.
Yeah. And no decision is ever made. So, I mean, I would think that we should just say we're gonna reduce your budget by $1 million, because the fact is, it has to be reduced by $1 million. There's no way around it. We've already given them $1 million out of the fund balance. We split the difference. It just has to happen.
Tom?
Yep.
And to get back to the communication, just so you know, Ted, just since I've been in office the last 2 weeks, we've had 2 meetings with the superintendent, which Kelly's been involved with 1 meeting. So we are opening up new communications with the superintendent and with the finance director. So we are working towards that for open communications so that we have more of an input to know more what's going on.
That's good.
So just so you know that, okay?
All right, thank you, members, for that input. Is there anyone else who would like to make any discussion?
Can we make a motion on that tonight?
We could, yeah.
Okay, then I'll make a motion to reduce the Board of Ed budget by $1 million.
Okay, we have a motion,
Second.
and we have it seconded. All in favor of reducing the budget by $1 million, signify by saying aye.
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 All right, any opposed?
No,
All right, motion carries. Abstention. Any abstentions? Yeah, one abstention. All right, thank you.
Well, this will force the issue. You'll have to come to it, but what are you gonna do? If you can't meet it, then
They actually don't have to tell us what they're doing. We're telling them whatever it is. It's not $1
he already
million.
knows it's gonna do.
he hasn't taken, he hasn't done it. Or very well,
All right, moving on, last item, wanted to just note here is, in talking to a number of concerned citizens in our town, many have said that they would like to see an opportunity, especially when they are present, to be able to either ask a question relating to the topics on our agenda or just have a comment relating to some of the things that we discussed on the agenda. So wanted to give that opportunity under citizens' participation. The two things I just want to note on that is, again, you may ask a question or make a comment, but there is a time constraint on it because, of course, we cannot go on all evening, so there'll be a 2-minute limit on that. And it does need to pertain to something that we went on the agenda, that we addressed on the agenda. It can't just be any old topic, obviously, relating to the town. So I'd like to move on to that portion right now of citizen participation, opening it up to the floor.
First off, thank you for making me part of the Board of Finance, but one of the things that was in the original budget when it passed, or what was handed down by the governor, and I haven't heard anybody talking about it, is the municipal stabilization grant. That was supposed to be worth about $372,000. And I haven't heard anybody, the Board of Finance or the Board of Ed, talk about that. That was something Ian Dauphinais brought up when the original budget was passed, from when Kevin and I talked to her. So there's a possibility that there's $372,000 sitting out there that we haven't even applied for. Now, it could have got cut when the governor did this thing the last time. I don't know that, but I just think that's something that really needs to be looked into.
Thank you, Scott. Anyone else? Yeah.
Sue Halls from Central Village. I would like to see, and I'm not sure if this is the right group, posted somewhere that we know every year what union contracts are up, what non-union contracts are up. I think only once in maybe 10 years, a contract has been challenged. And it's always like in April and May, when we go to the meetings and people ask questions, it's always said, we cannot touch that, that's negotiated, it's a contract, and forget it. So I don't know where you would post it, but I think that every townsperson should know, who is negotiating. I think the administrators might have just negotiated in the education budget for their new contract last year. The teachers did. I went to the town clerk, and they don't hand you it to look at, and you can't take it out. It was on her desk if I wanted to sit down and read the new contract for the teachers. So some way, this is to make it transparent for all of us, that it's not the secret thing. What I understand is when the contract is negotiated between the board and the teachers union, it goes on a 30-day wait period, and then if someone wants to challenge it, they can within that 30 days. And again, I only remember one time in this town, like in the last 25 years, it was been done.
Thank you.
I don't think there was a going on that Board of Finances would be able to look at the contracts. I don't know if that was passed in the latest version of the budget or not.
During teacher and administrative, if the Board of Ed has a contract that's open, it's under negotiations, they always invite a member of the Board of Finance to go attend, and Don has done that before, from the Board of Finance.
Okay, anyone else? All right, very good. I will then give one last opportunity to the members of our board. Anything that we did not mention for the good of the order? No? Okay. Motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, we have a motion to adjourn in a second. All in favor? All right. Thank you, everyone.
This is